The WWE's biannual Saudi Arabian Carnival of Curiosity is just rolling out of town. Did the special attractions turn heads or roll eyes? Let's find out. This is WWE Crown Jewel Graded. We start with a battle royal. The winner gets a shot at AJ Styles and the US Championship later on in the main show. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are the dominant big lads in this match. They're just hoying people out left, right and centre. Bit like Kane and Undertaker from Rumble 2001, if you're as old as me. We see, sadly, Sunil Singh's night cut short. He gets hoyed out of the ring, and as he's heading up the ramp, R-Truth, who was also thrown out, quickly rolls him up and wins back his 24/7 championship and legs it back up the ramp. Nice little break from the Battle Royal shenanigans. The actual Battle Royal itself winds down to Luke Harper, Eric Rowan and Humberto Carrillo. And it looks like that Harper is about to chuck Carrillo out of the ring. In comes Eric Rowan, cheeky little scamp, throws Luke Harper out over the top. In the ensuing chaos, Carrillo rolls underneath Eric Rowan, throws him over the top, and Humberto Carrillo is your winner of the Battle Royal to start the show. This was a C+ from me, pretty standard Battle Royal. I like the break in the action for the 24/7 title, and Carrillo was the right guy to win. They set up some stuff with Carrillo and Styles on Raw, so it makes sense that we get this match on the pay-per-view. To the main show, and we kick off with, what? Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez. All right, you're putting one of your special attractions on first. Okay, that's fine. They start pacing the ring, sort of feeling each other out for about a minute and a half. Velasquez gives Lesnar a kick, takes him down, is about to ground and pound. Lesnar traps him in the Kimura lock, and Velasquez taps out in like a minute and a half. And then Brock Lesnar just brutalizes him with the steel chair. Thank goodness for the small one-armed Rey Mysterio, who comes to the aid of the mighty Cain Velasquez, chasing away Lesnar with a steel chair. That's it. Done. I'm giving this an F. An almighty F. This was one of the matches that you built this show around. This was one of the pillars of this Crown Jewel event. You put it out first, and you give us a minute and a half of Lesnar dominating Cain Velasquez. Okay, you're about to draw comparisons between Lesnar and Goldberg, aren't you? You're about to, because that didn't last very long. Completely different situation. This was Goldberg making a return to WWE and looked like he was going to get battered by Lesnar. Instead, he turned the tide and they built to something much bigger. And you're also about to say, yeah, but this is Cain Velasquez in Brock Lesnar's world, so of course Brock Lesnar's going to outclass him. No. Here's the fly in your ointment, my friend, right? They fought this UFC style. So it was like close quarters, little ground and pound action. So this was Cain's wheelhouse. And Cain got dicked by Brock Lesnar and then got battered. And Ray had to save him. Like, all those new eyes that having Cain Velasquez as part of the wrestling world that were drawn to this, you've probably switched them all off now, because the guy that drew them in just got battered by Brock Lesnar. Like, battered. This whole thing, right? I very rarely get ranty. Let me have this. This match was born of greed, right? Here's my thinking. This match was born of greed. Cain Velasquez was being touted by AEW, he was being courted by AEW. He'd had an amazing time in AAA. AEW are interested. WWE were like, well, no, they can't have him. We want him. And we'll give you a match with Brock Lesnar if you come over here. They brought him in too quickly. They rushed his debut. They rushed this match. It looked foolish. And also, I'm going to get off this horse in a second, right? Also, you threw away Kofi Kingston's WWE title reign for this. This was your payoff, right? You took the belt off Kofi so you could have Brock and Velasquez, right? That was the big reason why you did it. You took the belt off Kofi in 4 seconds, right? So you could have this match. That was the match. Well done. Brilliant. I was worried that the Kofi Kingston title reign would be in vain. No, it's fine. We got that. This is an F. If you disagree, I'm sorry. You're wrong. It's an F. This was terrible. I don't see how they come back from this. I'm done now. I feel better now. Feel my soul is cleansed now. Let's crack on with the rest of the show. We have ourselves a Tag Team Turmoil for the Wrestling World Cup now. It kicks off with Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode going up against Lucha House Party. Well, there was no surprises where this went. Despite a game effort from the Lucha House Party, it goes to Rudolph to get the Tag Team Turmoil underway. Win for them. Hawkins and Ryder out next. They have a really game performance, but yeah, they lose to Ziggler and Roode with a nice spinebuster zigzag combo. I like that. That was nice bit of shenanigan from them. Big fan. Outcome heavy machinery, and Ziggler and Rudolph isolate Tucker. He eventually gets that tag to Otis, who just comes in and just wails away at everybody. He's like a running washing machine. Just flattens everybody. Big caterpillar. Trash compactor. Boom. Heavy machinery. Beat the former champs. Lovely stuff. This brings out the New Day as the next tag team. Some fun babyface tag team nonsense with these guys. But it's always going to be Kofi Kingston and Big E. Big midnight hour, boom, and they stick around to the next phase of the match. B team out next, and yeah, no surprises. Pretty quick finish. Big E, boom, big ending, takes them out. Revival are out next, and they have a good little showing against the New Day, but it's Kofi and Big E. They put them away. Afterwards, Revival are furious, and they just leave them decked on the floor. Big shatter machine, and out come Gallows and Anderson to sweep up the remains of the New Day. They even put the pin on Kofi Kingston, former WWE champion Kofi Kingston. Lost to Brock, who then battered Velasquez. Why did they do? I'm not going back down that rabbit hole. Out come the Viking Raiders, the last team of the night. Eric immediately gets his leg taken out by Gallows and Anderson. They fight back through this, and it looks like the Viking Raiders are going to put them away. But once again, they target that injured leg of Eric. Magic Killer, 1, 2, 3. And Gallows and Anderson surprise the world and win the World Trophy Cup Championship of all tag teams. Yay, they'll have that for ages, and that'll be a proud moment in the history of wrestling, and it won't just be forgotten about and put in a cupboard next to Braun Strowman's greatest Royal Rumble title. Giving the Turmoil match a B-. I thought this was all right. This was a fun affair with some good tag team chemistry thrown in there, and it killed about half an hour. After which I felt much calmer after the Cain Lesnar thing, after watching some good tag team stuff for about half an hour. Cesaro versus hometown boy Mansoor up next. Cesaro wearing the I had my suitcase lost at the airport look for 2019. Now, he has more of this on Raw, but it just does look like someone's lost his gear. Sort of short trousers and trainers. All right, fine. Cesaro's the veteran here, so Cesaro puts the beating onto Mansoor throughout this match. Mansoor a couple of times tries to rally, but keeps getting cut off by Cesaro. We see Cesaro do an amazing sort of deadlift, gut wrench, avalanche off the top rope. Only gets a 2 count from that. The win comes for Mansoor after a powerbomb off the top rope and a big moonsault for the 1, 2, 3. An excellent match between Mansoor and Cesaro. Mansoor gets on the mic at the end to address the huge crowd here in Saudi Arabia, and he talks, there was this bit genuinely made me chuckle. He was talking about how he woke up and realized this was the biggest match of his life. The crowd started chanting, "You deserve it." And then Mansoor says, "You're right, I was nervous." Oh, mate. Oh, that's adorable. Maybe wrestling fans are chanting, "You were nervous all along." Maybe we've got it wrong. Maybe they're always chanting, "You are nervous." This speech would have been great had it not been a sort of facsimile of the speech that he did 6 months ago after he won the Battle Royal. Like, you would have hoped that all this time on, maybe, tonight he would have been challenging for a title. Like maybe, if there was a real serious bit of push behind Mansoor, like he would have been in a title picture in this one, as opposed to just wrestling a random match against Cesaro and then talking about, this is it, this is the launch now. Yeah, see you in 6 months. That being said, this was a B+ for me. This has been the best match of the night so far, which is a sad indictment when you consider we've already had the WWE Championship match, one of your feature attractions. This was the best bit so far for me. It was just a nice feel-good win and a good match between two guys who gelled very well together. Cesaro looked like he was in control of most of this. And Cesaro is an absolute general, so this was great. Tyson Fury faces Braun Strowman in our second attraction match here at Crown Jewel, and wow, the pyro. Let's talk about the pyro for Tyson Fury. Comes out to It's Your Thing, and just fireworks and flames and lasers. This is like when you create yourself in a WWE game and you give yourself the most ridiculous entrance possible. That's basically what Tyson Fury has done. This was a ridiculously overzealous entrance for Tyson Fury. You know what? I loved it. I love that more than the match. Oh, that was rough. That was rough. And I know I'm going to get some heat for saying it was a rough match, but it was a rough match. Tyson Fury, he will be, you know what? If he wanted to go down the avenue of wrestling, there is enough bits of Lego to build a full house with. But right now, we've barely got enough Lego for the garage. Like, there's stuff there, but he shouldn't be in this position so early on. But they got through it. The finish came when Braun Strowman went for that second big run around the ring and nails it. But then as he throws Fury back into the ring and tries to get back into the ring himself, Fury kick pops up and bang! Nails Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman hits the ground, Strowman gets counted out, and that's how he wins. As Tyson Fury is celebrating in the ring, Strowman climbs into the ring, hits a running power slam on Fury, and if you watch the camera as Strowman's walking away, Fury almost immediately, whoop, straight back up. He's been to the Road Warrior Hawk school of selling. Straight back to his feet, challenging Braun to come back down. Oh, Tyson. Yeah, this is a D+. This shouldn't have gone as long as it did. Like, I would have been perfectly satisfied if this got the time that Velasquez and Lesnar got, like a minute and a half. Just some quick, they gave him too much. Tyson's not ready for this bit yet. There was some cute bits, like the Undertaker sit-up, which I'm sure he's getting a text from Mark Calloway about as we speak. But nah, this was, come on. Apart from the entrance, this was rubbish. It's D+. We go backstage where the 24/7 champion R-Truth is on the run from the Jobber Squad that was in the Battle Royal. He bumps into the Hollywood Boys, tries to make an escape, ends up banging his head on the door. Well done, mate, well done. Therefore, we see a pin by Samir Singh, 1, 2, 3, and now Samir Singh is the 24/7 champion. It was Sunil's turn the other week, and now it's Samir. Both Bollywood boys have bared some belts. This is brilliant. The US Championship is up for grabs here. It's Humberto Carrillo versus AJ Styles. These two really mesh well together. There were some really wonderful springboard spots by Carrillo. AJ Styles played his part really well. He's really quick, but he tended to slow it down a little bit just to shut down Carrillo. Tonight, though, wasn't the night of Humberto, despite a couple of really close falls. It was a phenomenal forearm, bang to the face of Carrillo, and AJ Styles successfully retains his title. Giving this one a B. The really good showing by both lads in this. Like, they had a great match on Raw. This didn't feel any worse or any better than the match they had on Raw. I enjoyed it. I'd like to see Carrillo wear that belt at some point. So we continue that journey on. In terms of like the Battle Royal winner to now, this made sense because this is the story they're telling. So I was happy to see this. Good stuff. The first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia takes place now as Natalya takes on Lacey Evans. They're in very different gear than they would normally be in, both wearing these big 2XL shirts as well. This is a real just straight technical wrestling match. It's good guy and good guy sort of going hold for a little while. Lacey Evans has a bit of a breakout during this and Natalya fights back through it. Evans goes up for the moonsault, hits it but only gets a 2. She goes back up to try it again and Natalya drops her off the top rope. Discus lariat, sharpshooter, and Lacey Evans taps out. At the end of this, both women embrace in the ring. The crowd gave it a really big cheer as well. The crowd had some great reactions throughout this. There was a lot of love for this match going down. In terms of I don't want to give this a grade. I don't, because I think considering the climate in which this match is taking place in, it feels a bit pithy to decide whether or not like these were good arm drags or not. This is a very to say this is quite a hotbed of a situation really underplays it. But considering the circumstance, considering the match, considering the show, considering where we were, and if you kind of take all that and just sort of laser focus it, just sort of stare at it through just as what it is, it was a feel good moment. It was, and I know there's more political stuff to get into with regards to a show like this. That is why we are proud to do these live streams where we watch the show with you, and thank you for joining us, and where we raise money for Amnesty International. We're very aware of some of the political hotbedness of this, which is why I don't want to give this a grade. It was a thing that happened. It should happen more often. Moving on. Team Hogan and Team Flair up next. Big points to Ricochet for that gear. Oh, mwah, you look great, fella. Also, big points to Greg Hamilton for shutting down Michael Cole. As Michael Cole is about to do his "It's the big dog" type line, Greg Hamilton just starts doing his ring announcing. You know, his job. Michael Cole gets very annoyed by this by saying, and says on the commentary, "Greg Hamilton, you're fired. Here comes the big dog." Shut up, Cole. Let Greg do his job. He's one of the best in the biz. A lot of this match was mainly sneakiness from Team Flair. They isolated Shorty G for a bit. They isolated Ricochet for a good long while as well. But all the while, the tension was bubbling as Rusev and Bobby Lashley wanted to get a piece of each other. And you know what? Every time that nearly happened, the crowd came alive for it. Maybe more people stuck around for that third hour of Raw than we thought. The hits on YouTube suggest that a lot of people liked watching that bit, but be that as it may, they were ready to watch these two go at it, and eventually they did. They came to loggerheads in the center of the ring, which sort of started the journey towards the end of this match. Lashley gets rid of Rusev, and then everybody starts hitting triangle and hitting their finishing moves, their signatures and their big moves. Roman Reigns gives us the big old ooh-ah, because he's Cornish, goes for Randy Orton. Randy Orton turns it into an RKO for a 2 count. Orton looking for a punt, doesn't quite get it, instead eats a standing moonsault from Ricochet. More finishes. Ooh-ah. Big spear by Roman, 1, 2, 3. And Roman Reigns wins for Team Hogan. This was a B+ for me, packed with action. Everybody played their part really, really well. Drew McIntyre looked great in there, I thought. Baron Corbin did great in there as well. Rusev and Lashley was the hot thing we were waiting to see more of. Roman Reigns came in as the big dog power guy. Shorty G, Ali, Ricochet, flying off the apron every chance they got. They brought so much spice and action into this match as well. This was actually a really good match to watch. I really enjoyed it, and I think some people said, oh, should it have been an elimination match? I think it was fine as it was. I think having it as just like a straight 10-man with 1 pin was perfect, and it was fine. It was a B+ for me. So now we come to the main event. Falls count anywhere, and the immortal words of Starship, nothing's gonna stop us except a pinfall or submission. I think that was a B-side on the same album. Fiend versus Seth Rollins, and we are bathed in red. Oh man, this old chestnut again. Yeah, okay. It's a nice visual effect if you love watching your wrestling through a Virtual Boy. But if you're gonna do a Falls Count Anywhere match, you need lights so we can see what's happening. You know, they fought in the ring for a bit, and the in-ring action was fine. When they went to the outside, it just became very difficult to see. There were some big spots as well that were lost due to the darkness to an extent. Seth Rollins falling through a triple stack of tables. The Fiend sentoning nothing onto an announced table, only to get just a 1 count from Seth Rollins. We see a Sister Abigail by the Fiend on the outside of the ring. One point during the match on this bit of like foam platforming, we see 100 different variations of the stomp on different materials: canvas, apron, concrete, the stage. Every kind you can imagine. The finish comes for this when Seth and the Fiend fight up towards the stage. Seth kicks the Fiend off the stage into a big old pile of electric stuff. You see sparks flying everywhere. Seth heads down the stairs because this match can't stop. The Fiend might be on fire because they're putting him out with extinguishers, but the match can't stop. Seth Rollins heads to the outside. It looks like he's going to get into this pit where the Fiend is to pin him, and then this big spark of electricity comes approximately nowhere near his face and somehow blinds him. You see, and do you know what? Kevin Dunn gets a lot of stick, but this shot, if this was you, Dunn, might put you on my Christmas card list. I ain't decided. Greg Hamilton certainly is for that thing earlier on. But we see Seth Rollins, who is blinded by this electric spark, and then you just see the Fiend rise up from behind him. Like, he's not hurt. And that is the moment where we went, oh my God, the Fiend's about to win. Fiend climbs down, mandible claw just chokes Seth Rollins to the floor. Fiend picks him up, Sister Abigail on the floor. 1, 2, 3. And the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, is your new Universal Champion. I was very concerned that there was no way that they could salvage the Fiend at this point. But they did by having him win. What a crazy thought. I know I've talked a lot about a couple of the big spots in this match. I'll be honest with you, outside of the big spots, it was very slow. It was quite clunky. It was a bit like they were walking in toffee. It was just slow, which is why I'm giving the main event a C+, because I know you get on to me a bit for going, you described all these great things and you only gave it a C. Well, I'm not going to sit here and go, and then they walked for a bit, and then they punched for a bit, and then they walked for a bit, and then they punched for a bit. No, the big bits I told you about were the big bits in this match, but a match is more than just a couple of big bits. So it gets a C+. And also, my days, that light, the red light throughout the entire match, it's a fun old gimmick, but call me old-fashioned, but I'd quite like to see the wrestling that I'm watching. I know, right? Crown Jewel gets a C from me overall. There was some good stuff in here, some good wrestling in the US title match, some good wrestling between Cesaro and Mansoor. A nice feel-good moment at the end of that. Of course, the women's match had feel-good moment written all over it. It just did. But there was just the attraction matches for me. They were the ones that really fell flat. I think I've said everything I need to say about the Lesnar Velasquez match and the Fury and Strowman match. The one sort of staple match that got all the hype that I think came close to living up to it was the 10-man tag. I thought that was the most entertaining of all the matches that were announced, to be perfectly honest. I thought that was good. But otherwise, yeah, the actual matches that they built this round, the pillars of this Crown Jewel show, really fell short for me. But a big shout to the WWE lads and lasses on their way back from Saudi Arabia on the red eye as I say these words. You've earned yourself a rest. Maybe get yourself one of those sleep masks from the flight attendant. Maybe a little wee dram of brandy just to take the edge off, help you go back to sleep. Good night. I love you, bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.